Hello guys, welcome back to channel Planet for Tech. So I hope you all are doing great and learning lots by watching all the episode of a continuous series that is the PHP Beginners to Master. So in the continuing session of this episode 20, we are going to discuss the remaining part of the state management in PHP that we have already started in the episode 19. So you guys, if you are new in this channel, so don't forget to watch that first episode episode 19. So in that we have discussed brief about like what this state management in PHP, and this is the continuing part of that topic on itself. So this is the episode 20. So here we are going to deal with the remaining uh, topic of that particular state management in PHP. So as you can see here, I have mentioned like the first topic, what is state management system in its type. So that is already discussed in the episode 19. Now in this episode 20, we are going to discuss about the cookies, session, cookies versus session, working for session and cookies together in the project software. So these all we are going to discuss more in the practical way. So the theory part is already covered in the previous episode. So if you have not watched till now, so you just watch it that episode 19, then only you can understand this episode 20. So now let's start this episode 20. So here we are going to discuss first the cookies, what this cookie is, and in a practical way, like how we can use it in the PHP. So a cookie in a PHP is a small file with the maximum size of 40 KB. So this point you have to understand, you have to keep remember guys, cookies stores very less information because its capacity of storing information is very small. So it is a size of 4 KB only, the cookie file which stores in the client side that the web server stores on the client computer. So you have to remember like this web server stores this cookie on the client computer. So they are typically used to keep track of the information such as the username that the site can retrieve, personalize the page when the user visits the website the next time. So whenever the user comes to the next time to the website, so the browser can understand like this user comes the second time because the browser is already having the first time visit information for the same user. So that information we can retrieve from the cookies only. So a cookie can only be read from the domain. So this line you have to keep a note. This cookie can only be read from the domain, means on the you have to like check the URL. Like suppose here we have the URL this much. So let me give you another example of Facebook here. So if you are visiting the Facebook site in the browser, so that time if Facebook is storing some cookie in the browser, so those cookie will be readable only from the facebook.com. We cannot read that cookie from the google.com because once the URL get changed, that cookie is not be available there. So this is the line what I have mentioned here. A cookie can only be read from the domain, means where we have created the cookie, from there only we can read the cookie, because other places when the URL get changed, that cookie will not be available there. So in the URL, if you are changing the URL, so you have to make sure like the domain is always same. If the domain is same, then only you can switch the cookie to other URL. Otherwise, if the domain is get changed, so that cookie will not be available there. So this is what these I have mentioned here. So cookies are usually set in the HTTP header, but JavaScript can also set as a cookie directly in a browser. So with the help of HTTP, we can say that all the cookies are being set in the header. With the help of JavaScript as well, we can create the cookies so that we will check in the JavaScript series. But here in the PHP series, we are going to create these cookies with the help of PHP only. So to creating the PHP and to creating the cookie and to dealing with the different aspect of cookie, we use this function here. You can see the syntax is showing in the red color here. So this set cookie method we are going to use here. So that set cookie method is going to accept the 7 parameters. The first is name, the second one value, third one is the expire, fourth one is the path, sixth one domain, and seventh is the security. So these 7 parameter we need to pass with while creating the cookie. So let's understand what these 7 parameters are. So the first parameter is the name, second is the value, third one is the expire, fourth one is the path, fifth one domain, and the security. So name refers the name of the cookie, like what key we want to create in a cookie. So the name of the cookie we have to pass. This is the very mandatory one, and this is mandatory. Let me mention here mandatory. This is the required. So this is the required one, and the second one is the value of the cookie. What in value you want to store in that name. So this is also required. But apart from these two, others are optional. If we are not passing others information, so those are default value, and those being accepted by PHP itself. So in our last episode, like episode 18th, I have already described you like what the default parameters in a function. So that way you can understand here. So the first two is the required one, and the remaining five rest five are the default arguments you can understand here. So this way the set cookie function works here. So and the third parameter is expire. So in the third parameter we mention like after which time, like after how many hours, after how many months, or after how many minutes the cookie is going to be expired. So guys, while creating the cookie, we can mention the expiry time also. If we are not mentioning the expiry time, it means PHP will browser will understand like this cookie will get expired once the browser get closed. So once the browser is closed, so that cookie will get expired if you are not passing the expiry time. Now next one is the path. This path is used to specify the path on the server where which the cookie will be available. Means here we are going to mention the path like at which path this cookie will be available. So if we are not giving the path, so that is also optional here. So the browser will take it from the URL and keep that path there. And the next one is the domain. It is used to specify the domain for which the cookie is available here. So like if you guys remember in a previous example I have shown you, so there was it was showing a local host in place of domain, and in place of path it was showing some slash slash practice. So this is the path there. So I will show you here also like what the domain, what the path is. And the last the very important parameter is the security. So this parameter is needed when you are going to store some critical data in a cookie, that kind of suppose token, or you can say the password if you are storing. However, password storing is not recommended, but if there is a requirement in a project, so you can store as well, but that time you have to make it secure. So to make it secure you have to pass this last argument, that is the security. So in this security argument, it is nothing but you have to pass some true or false. It is used to indicate that the cookie should be sent only if secure HTTPS connection exists. So if you are mentioning their security parameters, so it will simply send these cookies, or you can say you can read this cookie from HTTPS only, the secure socket layer, that is HTTPS. So these are the seven parameter of this set cookie method. Now let's start the practical way. So in the practical, we are going to understand this much, like how we can set the cookie, how we can create the cookie, and how we can check like particular cookie is created or not, and how we can access those cookies value to our use, and after that how we can delete that cookie. So this information we are going to understand practically. So without doing delay, let's start, and let's start. Let me start my VS Code there. So let me show you here. So this is the first example of creating the cookie. So here I am going to store in the username. Let me keep the very short name, like you can make it username Mohan underscore Gupta. So this username we are storing with a username cookie. Now after creating, so this is the way of creating, and we want to check whether this is created or not. So here I'm going to check how we can check it. So we can check it with the help of the super global available in the PHP. That super global is nothing but the dollar underscore cookie. Why this is called as the super global variables? So that I am going to describe you in the next episode. That is the episode 21. There I will describe you what the super global is. So but for now you can understand whatever in the PHP we are writing in this way, like the dollar underscore and all the letters in the capital, so those are considered as those are the significance, like these are the super global variables. These are available globally in the whole application, that is why it is called as the super global. Now you can see with the help of this we can pass the cookie name here, and if this is available or not, so for that we can use the is set method. So this is the PHP predefined method. So with the help of this is set, we can understand this cookie is values are there or not. If yes, so we can use it, otherwise we can say simply it is not available. Let me make it echo not available, and if this is available, so we can print its value username. So we can read this cookie from its super global value here. So this way we can check whether the cookie is available or not. Oh, it is not working. Oh, sorry, this is the test.php. Sorry. Now you can see here, firstly it is saying the not available because first time we have visited this page, that time it just created, but when you will reload it, that time that cookie will be available. So I'm going to reload it, and you can see it is showing this way, username is equal to Mohan and Gupta. So guys, the cookie get available on the next time. First time you have created, so this will be available next time when you will visit the same page again. So you can see here it is showing here. So this way, once it is created, so it can be used everywhere. Let's suppose I am going to use the same cookie in the test.php as well. So there also it will work. Let me make test.php. So here also it is showing because its value is stored here in the cookie browser. So you can see I'm going to show you here. So this is the cookie, this is the username. So these are the different parameters. You can see here the name of the cookie is what the username. Here you can see, and the content, you can see the content is showing as the Mohan Gupta, and the domain. So this is what the domain we were discussing there. So this domain is nothing but the local host. Here you guys can see this is the local host. So in the local host this cookie is available, and the path is what after the local host. You can see in the URL it is showing as a practice, so that practice is the path of this cookie. So in this domain only this cookie is available. If we are going to change this domain, so that cookie will not be available there. Let me show you it in a practical way. So if I am going to change it in like google.com, and I want to see that cookie is available here or not, so let me show you. So here you can see cookies. So in the cookies you can see there is no such cookie because that localhost domain is not showing here. So this is what we have understand there, like the cookies is available only for the particular domain where we have mentioned, like this one we have understand here. A cookie can only be read from the domain that it has been issued from. Cookies are usually set in the HTTP header. Means in which domain you have created the cookie, that domain only can access that particular cookie. Otherwise, other domains can't access that cookie. So this is the what we have understood, like how to create the cookie in PHP. And let's suppose we are passing the third parameter, the expiry time. So if I'm passing the expiry time as 1 second, time plus let me pass 1 second. So after, or you can say yes, 1 second I'm passing here. So this way you can see after 1 second this cookie will get expired. So in the first, let me create the two page, duplicate it. So in the first is the practice index.php. So here we have just see guys, I just visited this page. It is showing this is not available because the cookie is got deleted here. That is why that cookie is not showing here. You can see the content, domain, the username. This way it is showing there. This is not available because this is already expired. But when we refresh it, so it is just creating that again, and it in the second page if I want to use it, So it is saying like that it is not available. So in the second page also we can implement this concept there. Let me make it here. So in the first page we are creating the cookie, in the second page we are accessing the cookie. So in the first page I just created the cookie, in the second page I check the cookie, so it is showing not available. Why this is showing not available? Because the cookie expiration time is 1 millisecond we have already added. If we want to add it 1 hour, so you have to add 36 seconds, 3600 seconds. So this cookie will get expired after the 1 hour. So in the first page I am creating the cookie, and in the second page going to access it, so it is available here. But after 1 hour it is going to be expired, so that time you will not be able to see this here. So this way we can set the expiry time of the cookie as well. And the fourth argument was, what was the fourth argument? You can see here that fourth argument is nothing but the path, in which path you have to make it available. So the obviously the path is slash practice. So this is the folder path where this will be available. And the sixth argument is the domain name, like in which domain you want this to be available. So let's suppose I'm going to make it localhost. So you can see this domain will be there. And the last one is the secure parameter, so whether we have to make it secure or not. So here we can pass true. So this way I am going to create this new cookie. So let's see in the browser how it looks. So this is the information you can see here, guys. So the name is username, content is the Mohan Gupta, and the domain you can see here, the domain is the local host, path is the practice, send for, here we have mentioned secure, so it is showing that secure same site connection only, so it will be available for HTTPS connection. At what time it is created, so it is showing here, and at what time it will get expired. So you can see here it is created at 150 1 158, and it will get expired after 1 hour, that is the 2:59. So this is the way like you can understand when this cookies is going to be expired. Now let me show you by changing the domain name. If I am changing the domain like google.com or .co.in, you can say, so how it works there. So I just reloaded it and going to show you that cookie, how this information is being used there. So you can see here the cookie is showing like this way, and the this is the previous one cookie actually. Let me make the new changes. Let me make the new so going to create Google username. So this cookie we are creating for the path practice, but the domain is what? google.co.in. So let's see this is being created or not. So here in the you can see it is not showing the cookies because it has only one cookie, that is the user underscore name. In this place you can't see this cookie because this is what I have described you, like whatever cookie we are creating, that will be available only for the specified domain. So in this domain this cookie will be available, but for the local host it is not available. Now let's check in the google.co.in domain. So this is the domain google.co.in. So here that cookie should be available. Let me show you whether this is available or not. So guys, you can see here it is google.co.in showing here. Uh, let me expand this. So cookies, you can see this much cookies are already available, and the new cookie what we have created is available or not, that we have to check it here. So that is not yet available because Google is not allowed us to create the cookie on their domain name. That is why it is not showing there as well. Let me show you other place. Cookies in this place we can see no, because this is the local storage in this place. No, Google has not allowed to give us this permission to create the cookie with their domain name. So this is kind of security you can understand. So if we can create the cookie, we can create the cookie with our domain name. If you have the domain name, so you can pass your domain name that way. So you can create, and that cookie should be created from that domain name itself. So you have to upload this file there in this particular domain, and from there you can create the cookie. So this way we can create the cookie, we can access the cookie, we can check the cookie. So this is the way we can check whether the cookie is created or not. So here we are using the super global cookie, and we can access this way. So this is what about the cookie is and how we can use it in the cookie. So there are 2 points to note while deleting the cookie, guys. So you can see here, the first point is that if the expiration time of cookie is not set to zero, not set or set to 0, or it is omitted, like you have forgot to mention the expiry time. So the cookie, those cookie will get expired at the end of the session. That is when the browser get closes. So when you will close the browser, that cookie will get expired. And the second point is the same path and the same domain and the other arguments should be passed that were used to create the cookie in order to ensure that the correct cookie is. Means while creating the cookie and while accessing the cookie, we have to make sure like the cookie is created on the proper domain. Like in our example, we have created the cookie for the domain google.co.in, and we were using this in our local host. That is why this was not available. But when we will upload our file there in the particular domain, so from there we can access that as well. So you guys, you have to mention like you have to remember at the time of creating cookie and at the time of accessing cookie, the domain name must be same in the URL, then only you will be able to access that cookie. So this is what the information I have mentioned here as a notes. If you want, you can make the note for 1 second. Now in this session, so the next topic is the session, how we have to create the session in the PHP. So again we are going to discuss these three topics, this practical approach in a session, like how we can create in a PHP, how to create a session in PHP, how we can check the like you can say how we can create the cookie, sorry, creating the session, and checking, we will check the session, like how we can check it, how we can access it, and how we can delete it. So these four things we are going to understand here in the session. So let's start. So in the first page, guys, I'm going to create one session. So to create a session, firstly, and the first thing you have to keep remember, so in the first line of the program you have to mention start session. So this start session function you have to use. So this start session, sorry, not start session, session start. So this starts session start function you have to use in the first line. Then after you can create the session and you can access the session as well. So here I have mentioned here. So while creating the session, you have to use the super global, that is again session. So this way I can create the session username. Let me keep the same information like Mohan underscore Gupta. So this username we are going to store in this session. So this session is going to be available over all whole the application. So in the other page, that is test.php, I am going to check whether this session is available or not. So let me see here. Same function is set function we are going to use to check the session is there or not. So we are checking that here session is there or not, and if this is there, so we are going to print it here. Let me show you in a practical way. So in the first page we are going to create sorry, we are just creating the session, and in the second page we are accessing it. So it is saying like it is not available. This is because here in the first page index.php we have used session start, then after we have created the session. But in the next page, that is the start test.php, we just check like the session is available or not, then after we have used it. But one point I have told you, like if you are using the session in your PHP project, so you have to make sure session start function is called before creating or accessing the session. So you can see here, while creating, before creating this session variable, I have called this, but in test.php I have checked and I have used the session, but before this I have not called session start. That is why it is not working there. So let me call the same function again there. So this time it should work. So you can see it is available. So this is the point, guys. You have to make note, like before calling, before creating or before accessing the session, you have to make sure like session start function being called, then only you can access or you can create the session. So this is what the how we can create the session, how we can check the session, how we can access the session. Now the next point is how we can delete the session. So to delete the session, there is one method available in PHP, that is session destroy. So this session destroy, what it does? So session destroy does what? It destroy all the sessions variable whatever we have created. So you can see here, if I am going to destroy it here, and or else here you can destroy. So or else let me create a one logout page so that it is very useful for you. Logout.php. So in the logout page I am going to destroy all the session php. So this way I am going to destroy the session. So once I will destroy it and I will again try to access, so it will say like it is not available. So let me show you. So here it is available, but in the other page I'm going to show you like after doing the log out, sorry, .php. So you can see here it is giving you error session destroy, trying to destroy uninitialized session. This is what I have already told you. Before calling the session or session parameters or session methods, you have to make sure session start function is called there. You can see. So firstly, you need to call the session start. Then after you can destroy it. So it is destroyed, and let me see here. So it is showing here not available. So after destroying, if I am checking it in a test.php, so it is saying not available. So if you want to create it again, so go to this first page, that is creating the session. You can check it, it is available, but in the logout page it is destroyed and it is not available for the further use. So this way, guys, you can see. So this was there is a one more important thing is that this session destroy all the session whatever you have used. Let me show you other example. Let's suppose I have used username and I have used the can say location. This is the another session variable going to create. The location is the Bangalore. So here in the test page, or you can say not the test, let me make it profile page, profile. So if username is available, so it will display you the username, otherwise it will. And here we are going to check the location is available, so it will give you the information about the location. And this is the logout page. So let me show you. Once this session is destroyed, and again we are going to check the value, so it will destroy both the session username and the location, both will get destroyed. So here you can see in the first page it is creating the session. In the second page, sorry, test.php is not available. Profile.php, let me make it. So here you can see, sorry, let me give you one br. So you can see in the profile.php we are able to see the username and the location as well. But when we are going to log out, so both the session is expired. Both the session means all the sessions variable, whatever session variables you have used, all the session variables are expired. So session destroy, what it does, it removes all the session variable, session variables. It remove all the session variables. So what else if you want to remove the particular session, not all the sessions. So here you can see it remove all the session variables. That is why you are not able to see the username as well as the location. So guys, if you want to remove the particular session, then that time you should not use the session destroy. Then what we can use to destroy particular session? So if you want to destroy particular session variable, so you can use the unset method. Unset unset method you can use to destroy the particular session variable. If you want to destroy all the session variables, so you should use the session destroy. If you want to destroy particular session variable, so you have to use the unset method here. So I'm going to destroy only the location part. So let's me show you the example. So in the first page, session is getting created. In the second page, you can see both the sessions are created, but in the logout page, we have destroyed only one session. So it is going to destroy the location section only, but username it will not get destroyed. So in the profile page, you can see the username is available, but the location session variable is destroyed. So this is what guys you have to make sure what kind of delete you want. Like if you want to remove all the sessions, so you have to use session destroy. If you want to remove particular session variable, so you can use unset method. So this way guys you can use the session in your PHP project. So I hope you all are understood how to use the session, how to create, how to check, and how to access it, how to delete it on the session. So this way you can use to destroy the complete variable of all the variable of session. So you use the session destroy, and you want to delete a particular variable, so you can use unset method. So this method you can use to remove the particular session variable. This much guys for this session topic. Now let's see the difference between the session and the variable. What are the difference between the session and cookies? So we can see here there are the difference between the cookies and session. I have made a note for you all. So you can see the first point, session is cookie is the first column, session in the second column. The cookie, it is created by server and stored at the client side. So cookie are created by the server, but it is stored on the client side, while the session is created by the server and it is stored in the server side itself. So session while we create the session, so that time there are lots of information related to the session, which user has created, which browser we have used, and other information like date and time. So these all informations related to the session get stored in the server side, that is the temp location. In the server side, the temp location, there will be a one session file. So that session file is going to store all the information related to the session. So once it is created, it store all the information there, and it returns only the session ID. It returns only the session ID with the response, and store this session ID in the client side with the name of the cookie, that is the PHP session ID. So this is the place where session and cookies both together works. So you can see here session is being created by the server, and all the information related to session are being stored in the file, temp folder. So from there only the session ID is being returned by the server to the client, and that session ID is being stored in the PHP session ID that I can show you in the browser. Let me show you here where this is being stored. So you can see here in the cookie session. No, here it is not showing. This one you can see here. PHP says ID. So PHP says ID is being created in the client side, but it is created by server and it holds the ID of the session. So where the other details of session are being stored. So other details of session are stored by the server in the temp folder of the root directory. So this is the difference between the session, and the first difference between the cookie and the session. The cookies are being created by server and stored to the client side. Sessions are also being created by the server, but it stores all the information of session in the server temp directory. Only the session ID it returns, and it stores that session ID with the name PHP session ID in the browser in cookie. So this was the first difference. Now the second difference is, say a cookie, we can create cookie for long time storage. So we can create the cookie if you want to store the cookie long time, so you can use the cookie. And if you want to store data for short time, so you can use it with the session. So session is for short time, cookie is for long time storage. So cookie is less secure, and because it store all the information in the browser, so anyone can see, and the hackers can read your cookie and can manipulate your cookies to hack your system. But session are more secure because it store all the information in the server side. Only the cookie id get only the session id get stored in the client side. Now the next point is, cookie cookie can contain only 1 KB of data, but session is not like that. Session can store a large number of data because session is size independent to store as many as data the user wants. So this is the another difference. And the next point is default lifetime. Default lifetime for session and cookies both are same. If you are not if you are not passing like the expiry time of cookie, so definitely it will get expired once the browser get closed, and same happens with the session as well. So guys, while creating the session and cookie, you have to maintain this lifetime properly. So that lifetime you have to make sure both are same, because once the cookie is expired to session, once the cookie is expired, that session will not work properly, because the that session works only if the PHP says ID cookie is there. So if you are going to destroy the complete cookie, so it will destroy the session connectivity as well, because session is maintained in the server side, but it is being managed by this PHP says ID. Only the PHP says ID which connects your client, means browser, with the server to understand like the user information. So this PHP says ID is very much important. So while removing the cookies, you have to make sure like the cookies and session both are being removed at the same time. If you are not removing the session and you are removing the cookie, so the session will remain active in the server side. So this point you have to take care while creating the session and cookie. So for this session this much guys, and I hope this all are clear to all, like how to use the session, or what the state management in PHP, and how to use the cookie. So these all are clear as well. So in the next session I am going to describe you the next topic, that will be the episode 21. In the episode 21 I am going to describe you the awesome topic of PHP, that is super global in PHP. So what the super global are? So for that, till now, just watch previous session and and just do the practical and be tuned. So thanks a lot, and keep watching our next series, next episodes. Thank you guys.